Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to see you here all today. And I'm welcoming you to our session on AI-driven growth loops for mobile apps, one of I think, the fastest moving topics in our industry. So we've got an amazing group of speakers. So let's dive right in and make this session productive and powerful one. So, I think we're not going to wait for anybody else. Yeah. Okay, before we jump into the discussion, I want you to introduce our speakers by themselves. So, if you can tell us who you are, where do you work, what do you do, and what excites you the most about AI growth or AI-driven like growth loops right now, today, that would be amazing. So, it's gonna start. Yeah, I think Ryan, do you want to start?
Oh, yes, of course, I can start.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rihanna. I lead business development and partnerships at SocialPlus. And what we do is we help companies like Harley Davidson and Ulta Beauty to launch their communities directly in their own app. And we do this by integrating social features like feeds, forums, groups. This this helps customer brands to turn like a static app, so an app where only the brand is talking to their customer, into a community-driven space where users can create content, they can connect with each other in order to generate first-party data. And this is what I'm very excited about with the AI, because this helps to create the personalization in order to retain the customers and eventually to generate new revenue opportunities. So very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan, and welcome, welcome. Okay, who's gonna?
I can go next.
Nice.
I'm
Yep.
Merlin. I lead the data science team at Phiture. I've been doing that for almost 7 years. Phiture is a mobile growth consultancy and agency. We do app store optimization, performance marketing, retention, a lot of AI tech also recently, right? We work with big clients like Adobe, Netflix, or Spotify. And yeah, we've been developing lots of AI products in the last, for example, tools to use machine learning for bidding in Apple ads, or we also generated a platform that can use Gen AI to run experiments on the stores. Yeah, so I'm also happy to be here and to discuss some of these topics today.
Nice. Thank you so much, Merlin. Alrighty, Emre.
Yes, hey everyone. I'm Emre. I am co-founder and CTO of AppNava. At AppNava, we empower apps, mobile apps, and games to make best use of their data by providing them machine learning services and AI services to predict lifetime value of their users and other behaviors of their users, in-game behaviors, in-app behaviors, so they can use these predictions to optimize their user acquisitions and to personalize their games.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much. Alrighty, Chatai.
Hello everyone. I am Çağatay and I am the key account manager of SocialPeta in MENA region. For those who might know about us yet, SocialPeta is a world's leading ad intelligence platform, and we track over more than 2 billion ad creatives across more than 80 channels globally and updating millions of data points every single day. And I'm really excited to dive into discussion today, especially I will share some of the paradoxes we are seeing in 2025, like how ad volume is skyrocketing, even as the number of advertisers consolidates. So looking forward to digging into numbers with you all today.
Nice. Thank you so much, all. Alrighty. So, okay, audience, now it's your turn. Drop in the chat where you're joining us from. Maybe I would like to see, I'm just curious to see the map light up. Maybe we have from different countries, everybody. Alrighty. So I think the most interesting question here right now, before we dive into the discussion, is how do you see it? Like, I mean, how do each of you define an AI-driven growth loop in the context of mobile apps? So, what is it for each of you? Who wants to start? I think we're gonna go by the same cue. Ryan, do you want to start? So, how do you define AI-driven loops? What is it? Growth loops.
Okay, it's me again.
Yep.
So maybe it's good to like set the scene a little bit first in terms of like what SocialPlus is doing and how we are using the AI. So when we are looking at the metrics that we use, we're talking a lot about user engagement, how are you retaining and how are you acquiring customers. I think everyone is very focused on what are like the metrics, how often is my ad being viewed, and how am I going to acquire users to come to my app. So what we are focusing on is more the retention side of it. So what happens when you already acquired a user and they're within your app, and how do you make sure that they are keep using the products? And we say to do this by creating a meaningful space to go to. So to create the community within the app. And then in terms of metrics, we go one layer deeper. So think about the first party and the zero party data that we will collect from the social interactions. So once we have integrated the social features in the app, it gives the user the opportunity to share their voice, share their thoughts. It gives them a voice. It gives them the opportunity to interact with each other. So the usual metrics are like, what do they click on? But here we can really see, what do they like? How long do they spend on a post? Which groups do they join? When you have a community, it starts with lurkers. People are just viewing, and then you start to engage a little bit, and then you start to comment, and then you engage yourself. With the data collection that we have, we can track all the content that is being consumed. We can see what are they engaged with, what are they saying by themselves. And this data is like we build an AI in the back to capture all these data points and creates a better experience, so that the next time that I'm in the app, if I commented in a group, then next time I will get advertisements or I'm being suggested to be in these groups. Next to that, with all this data, we are able to create the user profiles. And with the user profiles, we are being able to create very specific user profiles. And we can serve the customer exactly what they want at the right time. So yeah, it's mainly the hyper personalization that is giving each user what they want, like what they are really interested in. So yeah, I think that's mainly about the data points and AI, how it's being used.
Yeah, very comprehensive answer. Thank you so much. Alrighty, anybody else have anything to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I can jump in next. Yeah. So from my end, like AppNava's point of view, there are three different pictures, like yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So yesterday growth was focused on, like yesterday, I mean like 10 years ago, maybe. Some static events, right? Application installs, website visits, like single static events. And today, like between yesterday and today, can you hear me? Because Aigiza, you are frozen. Is it only you or me? Can anyone confirm you can hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay, perfect. So today's picture, like today, I mean, like started maybe 7 years ago or something, and between today is deep funnel conversions, right? You basically focus on very complex deep funnel conversions, like some value spent, some total lifetime value, some chained actions, etc. So you try to optimize your growth based on these deep funnel conversions. But this is today's pictures, and we are between today and tomorrow, thanks to AI. And the next big thing is predicted actions, because waiting to understand if how much a user will spend money is too late to provide signals to platforms. So you have to predict as early as possible how much value a single user will bring, and then you optimize your growth campaigns or your growth strategy to get these users with early signals. And this is where I think AI comes into the picture within the growth loop. So to address your question. And for this, basically we categorize data and metric maybe into three buckets. The first one is the contextual data, which means which app version, which game version your user is using, which country they are from, which language they are using, from which device they are connecting. All these contextual and less changing data is the first bucket. Second bucket is the behavioral data, which means how much time is spending this user in your application, and what events, what actions they are doing, how engaging they are, what is the time series of their events, because we need to know that the two people who installed your app is not the same if one is like spending lots of time in your app and the other one is like barely checking things. Because at the end of the day, all these games and apps compete for one single real currency, your time. So if you get bored of a game and uninstall it, you will spend the same time more on maybe YouTube or by just installing another app and another game. So everybody competes for user time basically. And to understand how they are exactly spending time on your app is to key to unlock your growth basically. And the third, the data bucket is the outcome. Like, what are you focused on? Are you focused on retention? Are you focused on time spent? Are you focused on 7-day LTV, 30-day LTV, 1-day LTV? So this is the third data point. Yeah, these are my takes about how to use AI, like why AI is important in growth.
Alrighty, thank you so much for the full answer. All right, and next time let's try to keep our answer a little shorter, so all the speakers can express themselves. Alrighty, anyone wants to add here, or did we cover everything?
I can
Yeah.
also add. I mean,
Yep.
it really great the things that were said, and I feel like I'm complementing this well with Rian, you talking about more the retention side, and I just like on the acquisition side, I would say, have a look at the data, have a look at the metrics, and make sure you have the right post-install events. Kind of that's something that when we started building Catchbase, which is our Apple Ads kind of bidding tool, the first thing we did was actually connect all the mobile measurement partners, right? So it's so important, and have a look at the events that indicate some kind of value, right? Is it the completed onboarding? Is it activated some core feature, created some content, added the payment, whatever it is? Because for the AI system later, that's the reward signal, right? So that's super important to get that right. And then again, on the acquisition side, if you're running ads, you need a very clean structure, right? If you're looking at campaigns, keywords, audience data, again, that is important also for your AI system. Something that we kind of have an automation that kind of makes sure that we make sure that there's a kind of a good campaign structure in place, right? The match type, the ad group structure, geo, device placement, all those things, because those are the things that the model then kind of goes and changes and users when it's kind of bidding and using machine learning, right? So I'd say those are kind of the important things. And then there's one thing that I find super, super important. Then once all of those things are set up, one thing that we look at is incrementality, actually. So incrementality is kind of the causal side of things, right? Because reporting can be very descriptive and it's not necessarily the reality. So if you can run some incrementality tests, if you can do lift studies, if you can do geo studies, or if you can somehow measure the relationship between paid and the organic side, then that's really super good, and you can feed that back into your growth loop, and that will help a lot, kind of to make things better. Yeah. So I think to summarize, I think looking at the post installs, connecting that back cleanly to your keywords or campaigns or whatever, and then once you've done all that, adding that additional layer of, let's say, incrementality or causal estimation. Yeah. And I think if you've done that, then you've kind of got, I think, 80% of the foundation of like what you need for like a good growth loop. Yeah, AI growth loop.
Yeah, that's very interesting perspective. I think all of you got some insights here. Thank you so much, Merlin. All right, Chadai, do you have anything to add?
Yes, yes. I can add some data and our point of view against the AI growth loop. So at SocialPeta, we see that AI growth loop isn't just about acquiring users anymore. It's more about the creative velocity and signal quality. So to build a real AI loop, you need to stop looking at the vanity metrics like downloads and focus on three specific signal metrics. The first one is you must track creative fatigue velocity. In our H1 AI app report, we have seen a massive paradox on number of active advertisers actually dropped like 47%, but we have seen yet the volume of creatives per advertisers skyrocketed up to 84%. So what this tell us? It tells us that winners are surviving by flooding the loop with the high volume AI assets. You can't just track the CTI anymore. You need to track the decay rate of that CTR. So your AI needs to know exactly when the ad is dying, or so it can autonomously generate and swap into the next video variation before the performance dips. The second, you need to follow the platform specific cost signals. AI loops often treat all traffic sources as equal, but our data shows a huge divergence. For example, for productivity apps, we are seeing TikTok CPMs around $3.2, while Google's sitting at $5. Finally, for the retention loop, the critical metric is time to first key action. So we have seen that 84% of all ad creatives for AI apps are now video. So why? Because they promise instant utility. So your AI needs to know if user actually used the feature in the first session. If a user downloads your AI photo app but doesn't generate an image in the first 5 minutes, this is a negative signal. So you must feed the failure back to the acquisition model immediately so it stops bidding on similar users. To summarize from our perspective, AI growth loop is a really data quality loop. So we recommend you to focus on fatigue velocity and time to action. If you get those right, you are not only using AI, you are fueling it with your data.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you so much. Yeah. So what are we talked about like what we should do really with mobile apps, but what is the biggest misconception about AI? in mobile growth right now that you probably want to debunk for our audience or maybe like expose today? Alrighty. Marlene, do you have anything to say about this point? Like, do you have any misconceptions?
Misconception. I think the biggest one everyone knows probably is that the AI will replace the marketers, right? And I really don't think that's the case. It just kind of helps us to change the feedback loop into a more continuous feedback loop that's kind of constantly running. It's always running. It's always kind of running experiments and always measuring that impact. So it goes way beyond what humans would ever be able to do. And at the end, I think that's something that kind of complements the work of the marketer really, yeah, in so many ways. So it's more like a co-pilot, really, not an oracle. I think that's also super important to keep in mind. There's so many things that like the human still needs to do. But yeah, I think more like kind of like a co-pilot. I would see it that can really help you to in your weekly decision making. Yeah.
Well, I would support you here. Yes, human will not be replaced, especially in the marketing department. All right. Emre, do you have anything to
Yeah,
add here?
yeah, two things maybe. One is I agree with Marin, like this is the biggest misconception, AI replacing human. AI is replacing what humans do today, but they won't be replacing human. It's same as the industrialization era, where like lots of workers, etc., temporarily maybe laid off temporarily, but then new kind of jobs emerged, and then they basically took these kind of jobs. So AI accelerates in growth companies. AI accelerates execution. So it's not the replacing the strategy. So if you try to replace your teams with AI, you will lose the value that actually matters. Yes, your employees will spend less time on execution, but their time will shift to strategic thinking. So if you replace your teams with AI just because some tool can do some of what they are doing today, you will lose the actual edge. Yes, there will be temporary shifts towards maybe increasing jobless rate, etc. But these will change with time. This is the first point. Second point, quickly, there is also a misconception that model accuracy or AI doing its predictions. This is more for AppNava. Like sounds like if the model predicts perfectly, then the campaign will go perfectly. This is a misconception. There are lots of other dynamics, platform-specific dynamics, and dynamics in your game and app that will change the picture. So this also requires expertise with these platforms. So these two things I want to mention as misconceptions.
Yeah, I support you here. Okay, thank you. Chatai or Ryan?
Yeah, I can go.
Yes.
I think that the biggest misconception of AI is that it magically fixes everything. I think the AI is only as powerful as the data that you give it, right? So you need to put the right prompts and the right data. Like you can have click scrolls, page views, and then tell you something about this is the solution. But then, for example, in our solution, we're talking about community, because then the AI becomes powerful because the people are adding their thoughts and they're putting their likes. And this way you really create an environment where users interact and you feed the right data. And this is when the AI can do the magic. So yeah, the misconception is that it cannot just fix a weak product. It's about the data that you feed it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm so glad we are on the same page here, guys. Alrighty, Chatai, do you have anything here?
Yeah, I can add something like, with the AI misconception. Actually, as I mentioned here at the beginning, the importance of the growth loop with AI is the with which data you are uploading into it and how you are training the tools into your target results. So we emphasize the data quality into before every tool. And I will extend my introduction on our second fixed question. So I do not want to repeat myself. So I will elaborate in the later. So
Alrighty. At this point, I want to remind guys, if you have any questions, if you have something on your mind and we are not covering it, please drop your questions in the chat, and we will go through them later in the hour. Alrighty, and then I have a quick question. All of you have a lot of experience, years in mobile growth, in mobile's app growth. So if you would like to give a piece of advice to a small app team, for example, they want to build its first AI-powered loop, where do you think they should start realistically? So they would be like successful, or at least middle successful. For the starters, for the beginners. All right, Emre?
Yep, let me go first this time. So like many people mentioned, the most important thing is just like do some initial investment in clean and structured data. So keep your data in a good way and keep the critical events, even like medium critical events, keep your data and in a clean way. So because if data is wrong, if it is showing wrong lifetime value for each user, there is nothing you can do to improve based on your data. So invest early in clean structured data. And change your mindset to focus on what actually matters for your growth. Like, is it LTV, is it retention, etc., instead of focusing on proxies. Focus on the end goal. And you need good tools or infra to experiment quickly, because quick experimentation and iteration is the key for up and game success. Embrace automation, AI automation, use AI everywhere. In AppNava, we use AI literally for everything, like as an assistant. But basically, do not try to replace your team. Keep humans in the driver's seat, but use AI, because the ones that will be losing will be the ones that does not utilize AI correctly. So yeah, these are maybe the 4 advices I can give.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Very interesting perspective. All right. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, if I would add something again, I think I've mentioned this, like find the right reward signal if you're like using tools that optimize some kind of ads, like, and you need to choose like a signal. Yeah, please don't optimize for cheap installs. Yeah, make really sure that you kind of find, I don't know, maybe 1 to 3 key post install events, or I mean, I'm a data scientist. I love lifetime value, right, or any other kind of proxy for revenue, of course. Then, and I think Emre, I think you mentioned this, right? The experimentation habits are so important, especially before you go and buy AI. Right? Obviously, we've built this tool that does kind of experimentation, right, on the Google Play Store, and we're happy to have you come and try it. But yeah, you really need a very disciplined testing framework, and how to design tests, how to stop them if you're doing it on your own, right? And from idea to experiment to decision. So that's something that is really important, I'd say. And then the third one, I think I've also mentioned, yeah, treat AI as a co-pilot, and don't kind of not as an oracle, right? And there are yeah, it's not the team that wins that has like the best model. It's the team that wins that can actually interpret what the AI does the best and then use that in kind of like the decision making, right? So yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, chat, do you want to add something else? Do you have anything?
Yeah. I can add some data and some recommendations. Like, I think we are moving away from the old traditional manual A/B testing into the high velocity prediction with the AI. So, for the beginners and the users of the AI tools on the growth loops, AI isn't just making ads; it's closing the loop, creative targeting, creative production, and media buying in real time. So the successful teams are using AI to float the algorithm with variations. They are using generative AI to spin up hundreds of versions of the video or playable ads instantly. And the AI then monitors the 3-second hook rate or interaction depth. So actually, we have a similar feature in our platform as well on the creative intelligence. And it's if there is a specific hook fails on TikTok, the system doesn't just pause that. Can signal the generative model to swap the intro and redeploy it immediately. It's simultaneously on the media buying side. The AI just adjusting the bits based on platform intent, and it optimize the creatives for the former and bit for the latter, all in real time. And I think the common challenge on the market is illusion of scale. So, however, this brings me the biggest challenge we observe. This is what we call the illusion of scale. So, just because AI makes it easy to mass produce assets doesn't mean those assets are effective. So, we see many teams failing into trap of generating noise, flooding into market with average soulless creatives that drive clicks but kill retention. So this mistakes is expecting a user acquisition manager to suddenly become a creative director just because they have an AI tool. No, AI is excellent at execution, but it lacks strategic intent. And it doesn't inherently understand why a failure-based story arc works for puzzle game or why a live-action testimonial builds trust for productivity app. So to summarize, the teams are winning in 2025 are who are using AI to handle velocity of production while keeping humans focused on strategy of the message. So this is how you turn your growth loop into sustainable business at your campaigns.
Interesting. Alrighty. And Ryan, from business development and partnerships, what?
No, I wanted to start. I said like for me, I
Yeah,
don't think the
yeah, it's interesting to hear from business angle.
I can tell you, or like what I would say is more like don't start with the AI. First understand of like, okay, what is the outcome that I want and what is the data that you're giving it? And then start small. So like not necessarily from business development perspective, but more from like a social plus or like how are we using AI within the app. Like start with one user journey and see what's the outcome in there. Like test something very simple so you know what you want to have, you know what the user journey is, and then you can scale it with the AI. And I always would say like don't use AI as a replacement, but use it like as a partner to like add the context or add examples or add recommendations more as a guidance instead of 100% relying on it.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. And then you mentioned about good prompting, but what about when AI can surface or like rise patterns and signals that would take for a human team months or weeks, like, you know, a long time to notice. What about those situations when AI is actually outperforming humans?
I mean, I still don't think that AI will outperform humans, because in the end of the day, it's still the data that it would feed you. So if we take it back to how we're using it at our social features, is like you will get richer first party data. So there's so much content, so you need to start small, and then eventually you can scale it with AI. I think there's always a human touch that needs to go through it, because eventually AI will take a direction and you will lose track of what you actually are looking for in the results.
Yeah, interesting. All right, Emre, do you have anything add here? Because from technical perspective, as a
Yeah, for
CTO,
sure.
you know, when AI is like better than human intuition and, you know, in mobile growth,
So I
where,
wouldn't say,
yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't say intuition. So if you divide everything, every project, grow, etc., into smaller things, like they are usually projects and tasks and subtasks, right? So subtasks can be automated. Tasks AI can do, but project level things, I don't think AI can in near time will replace human. But the thing here is at task level, I'm not saying AI can do better, but AI definitely is doing faster and like bigger. Like for example, in our own work in AppNava, it would be really hard to understand each user's behavior individually. I'm not talking about cohort level, individually for a human, and decide actions based on that. That would be just unrealistic. For a one or two users, a human can do this better, but it's just like chess, right? A human can basically see smart things for the next three moves, four moves, etc. But when it comes to scale, you need to utilize AI to move faster, quicker than your competitors, but not at project level. We are at task level so far. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
it
I
makes.
also agree with that. And that, yeah, so we in kind of this Apple Ads bidding tool that we've built, we use reinforcement learning, right? And that's a super powerful algorithm really that's running there day and night, and it's kind of live, right? And it sees everything. It sees seasonality, kind of things like a Black Friday. It can anticipate already, and kind of all these things like a human would just never be able to do. There's thousands of keywords that it's kind of bidding on every day, and that's just like I think where the AI becomes super powerful. And I think someone here has already mentioned that actually the marketers can actually then go and spend their time on custom product pages and creatives and strategy, and don't have to kind of like manually change bids every day, right? I mean, that's ridiculous, right? I mean, that doesn't make sense for a person to do that, right? So I think that's where I think really the marketer and the algorithm complemented each other very well.
Thank you so much, Marlene, for your input. Chata, do you have anything add here?
Yeah, like, I was thinking about the AI as an excavator, the excavators cannot operate without operator, but they can do what people cannot do in short time. So AI also needs a very good strategist, human being, and at the top of it. And we have seen, we have predict that it's really going to optimize the hyper personalization, retargeting, etc., on marketing campaigns with the AI. But you need to have experience on the field to use these kind of things. So, you cannot do, wipe coding or something like that in marketing with the AI tools. So this is my point for this question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Emre, so you talked about how human is very important even now in AI, in AI era and everything. So, but how does an ideal, perfect AI infrastructure look like for growth, from like data pipelines or to like real-time decision systems?
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure about the perfect. I
Yeah.
can talk about a futuristic version where your data is clean. You kept the important events and important data. You use AI for which we actually do at the moment. This is not futuristic, but I'm just giving a complete picture. You use AI and some models and like systems to clean your data and basically map every client's data to a known format, or basically data pre-processing where you use AI heavily and make the data actionable. And then you develop cutting edge models to do predictions and to extract insights from your data. And then you provide these signals to platforms back like Meta, TikTok, YouTube, etc. But there is a black box there because these platforms' behaviors sometimes are unpredictable. So these will definitely damage the perfect world. But at the end of the day, you just back and forth, iterate this loop and like improve your models with data, improve your data, try new things like focus on maybe first hour prediction, 1 day prediction, etc. And another AI agent there is just looks your campaign from outside and utilizes your predictions, models, and campaign dynamics like hyperparameters, etc. Yeah, a continuous iteration supervised by different AI agents at sub-level data, 1 level more prediction, and at the high level, very high level, the campaign management.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, Merlin, I have one more question for you. So, how can AI used be across application, store optimization, and user acquisition, as you talked already about that, to discover and target, high value users and to optimize creative budget decisions?
Yeah, I guess so. AI, yeah, is a big word, right? I think
Yeah.
in machine learning also that's also been around kind of actually for many years before the Gen AI hype, right? And we've been doing a lot of that at Phiture. On the acquisition side, for example, like we do a lot of work in kind of connecting the data points between App Store optimization and paid user acquisition. That's still something that's not so well understood, actually, and most people actually don't look at it at all, or but it's super important. Our consultancy, we actually started doing App Store optimization first before we then later got into paid user acquisition. So that's something where yeah, data scientists use machine learning to kind of like measure that impact over time. It's super complicated, and the stores don't really offer these kind of testing frameworks in order to measure that. But yeah, we've kind of developed our own algorithms to try to measure that impact. And for example, the organic uplift coefficient, right? You really want to know if your paid ads are cannibalizing or if they're actually actually good for your organic, right? So that there's kind of all these different kinds of effects that you can go and measure. And yeah, you don't need to actually be super sophisticated, have like the craziest model, obviously you can also look at this descriptively, right? I mean, we also work a lot with dashboards and in a descriptive way that we just kind of, we have, one good thing is that we have all the data consolidated in our data warehouse, right? Paid data, organic data, and we can add that to a dashboard and we can just add some simple charts and we can see, oh, actually we started an ad here and then we actually saw that our organic data from App Store Connect, for example, has dropped significantly, right? Oh, what happened there? Let's dive into that. Let's investigate that a little bit further. And then later, maybe you have a data scientist who can kind of build a model and really measure that in a more causal way, right? So that's just like one example, really, I think, of like things that you can do. But I don't want it to seem, if also for the listeners, that these are super, super complex things, right? I think these are kind of things that really anyone can just look at and plot some data and then look at in a descriptive way.
Thank you so much for your input. Chatai, what do you have anything add to here? Like maybe some common challenges you have observed when applying AI in user acquisition campaigns? And I mean, how did your team overcome them?
Yeah, we have faced common challenges. Actually, we are a solution provider for who has challenges on their campaigns and who are trying to use the AI on their funnels and on their growth loop. So this is a critical topic from our perspective, and I'll try to make it short on your time. And I did not want to be, reiterate everything I said, but successful teams who are using AI into AI tools into their campaigns and strategy. The teams that are trained their tool very well and knows the results beforehand, and it is basically it's not using it for outwork its works or like this, or it's trying to people trying to teach how they can operate in certain cases on the growth funnel. So, so how can I explain my challenges on that side? There's different challenges, like you need to optimize your loop, you need to get the outside of the illusion of scale, and you need to use the solution of training, not just using. So you need to use intentional frameworks. You cannot just ask AIs for video ads, or you need to feed it specific performance data, tagging your winning creative so the model understands specific emotional triggers that worked. You must close the data loop and don't just optimize it for the instance. You need to feed the AI model with data on retention and monetization. For example, if we are running a gaming campaign and telling to AI to optimize users who engage with mini-game feature, that is often a predictor of long-term retention. So the teams are winning in this year. The people who are using AI to handle velocity of production while keeping humans focused on strategy of the message. Again, that's all on my end.
All right, thank you so much. Ryan, do you, for applications with social and community features, how can AI-driven growth loops be leveraged to, enhance user engagement and monetization without compromising the social experience? I mean, what strategies have proven effective in aligning AI insights?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that like how the AI growth loops can be leveraged to enhance the user experience and the monetization.
Yes, yes, without
So,
without the compromising the social experience.
okay, so this ties back to what I was mentioning in the start. Like with the data, we are creating the user profiles, which means that this way we are helping them to create a better social experience. We will not compromise it at all. So when it comes to social features, push notifications can be a very interesting part. Think about the reason why people are using certain apps or why you would pick up your app. If we're going to an example of retail, a retail app can only send X amount of notifications of like, okay, come back to our platform with discounts. But if you think about if you get a notification from your friend that posted or someone that liked your post, then you have this little dopamine hit. So then you can use multiple push notifications. If we are looking at Instagram or Facebook right now, like the social networks, they are not really social anymore. They're basically entertainment platforms. If I'm watching my stories, for example, like every second story I see is an advertisement of something that I might or might not be interested in. So this is the opportunity for the brand. What we're saying, like once you acquire them, once you have seen what kind of advertisements they click on, like why they come, or like you acquire them to use your app, this is where the opportunity is to own the relationship. So from moving from the acquisition to the retention, to giving them a platform where they can engage with each other. And while they're engaging with each other, you are collecting the first party data, zero party data with the AI that is running in the background. You can see the sentiment, you can see what they're talking about. And based on this, the content is being pushed to the user what they actually want to engage with. And then of your point of monetization, I think, yeah, that's a very delicate process. You first need to make sure that your community is happy to be there and want to share. And one of the monetization sides of this is when a user talks about a certain topic, and then you get an advertisement about that product, then the likelihood to buy it increases. So then you will create new revenue streams with that. I do have like an example. So I was mentioning Ulta Beauty. They can keep coming back with like 15% discount on this lipstick. But if I join a group of I'm a fan of this brand or I like lipsticks, and then afterwards I post it like, oh, it's my new lipstick, and I get 100 notifications of people liking my post and commenting on it, I don't mind opening the app again and spending time in the app, which means that with the AI in the back end, understanding what the user wants, they get the right in-app advertisements pushed to them or the right recommendations, and then they will pick up the mobile phone and use the app. So that's the combination of the user experience and that the social will never that it will never compromise the experience because it will only enhance it.
Yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful example. So a short question for all of you. So how do you see AI shaping the future of mobile growth loops? So futuristically.
Yeah, I can answer super short
Yeah.
because I think we're limited in time.
Mm.
Yeah, look, it's gonna shape the future. It's gonna change mobile growth from a series of manual optimizations into kind of this continuous feedback loop, right? And that's runs across acquisition, app store presence, in-app behavior, and we're already seeing. I mean, that's what we're doing also at Phiture with kind of the tools that we've built. But yeah, we're really only at the beginning, right? There's a lot more that's gonna be happening, and experiments are gonna be run in in a on a really large scale across all geos and custom store listings, and the system will less feel like a tool, but more like it's like a real engine, right? It's constantly learning, it's constantly proposing new experiments, getting better, and improving. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much, Emre.
I can go quick also. So from my point of view, like growth loops will become self-optimizing, like more and more, predicting user value, testing and experimenting, allocating budgets, automatically refining targeting, etc. This loop will be complete. And so attribution will rely more on predictive values. And I think lifetime value and predicted lifetime value will become the central metric for general growth.
Thank you so much, Chatay. Do you think of the future and AI shaping it?
Yeah, I can share some thoughts about my perspective. So I think we are moving from the era of generative AI to the era of agentic AI. So I agree with Emre. I think the growth loop is becoming more self-driving loop, and we are moving towards a system that just doesn't suggest a bit change, but actually execute campaign and killing the losing creative and spin up the new version without a human clicking a button. But the AI just isn't just your creator anymore. It's your media buyer and your optimizer. So I think for uh, companies who are thinking about the AI in the future, be more delicate about, how to become a data architect for your AIs. So an agentic workflow is only as good as its data. So if you feed your AI generic attribution data, you get generic results. So you must start tracking proxy metrics. It's like time to first value or creative fatigue velocity, as I mentioned at the beginning, and feed them back into your model, and you aren't optimizing campaign anymore. You are training a model to do it for you. So the second thought of my perspective, like they are still like a gamer, productivity report from this year shows us a fascinating trend. Utility apps are winning by stealing tactics from gaming. So we see the productivity apps using playable ads and minigame hooks and lower their CPI. That just don't look at your direct competitors. So you look at what the top gaming advertisers are doing on specific channels. They are usually 6 months ahead of the curve, and they're using AI on their campaigns more efficiently. And to wrap up, the future belongs to marketers who stop trying to outwork the AI and start out teaching it. Focus on your data quality and your strategy, and let the AI handle the execution. That's all myself.
Thank you so much. Ryan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so I think that AI will completely shift the way that apps will grow, especially in the world where, every time we need to tick the privacy settings, people don't want to collect the third-party data anymore. I think we're going to move from collecting, all the clicks and all the metrics for the acquisition that we're using AI to move to really focus on the conversations and the reactions and the interest. So that's where community also becomes a big part of the future. I think we're really going to use AI on how to understand your customer better, and that the focus is going to be not to how am I going to buy new customers, but more how am I going to make sure that the customers that I have are gonna stay, and that the AIs will get smarter because they learn from the users, and this way they will build features for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Alrighty, do we have any questions from the panel? I do not, from the audience. I did not see any. Or am I missing? Yeah, I think we don't have any. Alrighty, thank you so much, everyone. And a huge thank you to our incredible speakers. That was very powerful, insightful conversation about how AI is reshaping mobile growth right now. I hope, audience, you guys living with ideas you can apply right away after this session, whether it's smarter data use or better creative decisions, or maybe building your own growth loops. All right. Thank you so much again to our audience for the attention. If you'd like to continue the discussion, I think, yeah, feel free to connect with us after the session, and have a fantastic day. All right. And keep building, keep
Have a nice day,
experimenting, and
everyone.
keep growing. Yeah,
Thanks, everyone.
sure.
Thanks for joining.